everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive.
Yeah.
Today, we're diving into a story that's really been shaking up the tech world and global markets.
Absolutely.
You've probably seen the headlines about DeepSeek.
Oh, yeah.
This Chinese AI company that's making some serious waves.
Big time.
We're going beyond just the hype
to
uncover exactly how they're shaking things up and what it all means for the future of AI.
For sure. And what's so interesting about DeepSeek is how they've managed to achieve these groundbreaking results in AI development at a fraction of the cost of their U.S. counterparts.
Right.
It's
a real underdog story.
It is a total underdog story that has everyone just buzzing.
So, okay, let's unpack this a little bit.
Yeah.
We're talking about DeepSeek, a company that seemingly came out of nowhere.
Seems like it, right?
Founded just last year in 2023 by Liang Wenfeng, who actually has a background in AI-powered hedge funds.
Now they're making headlines for their new AI model called R1, which is designed to have advanced reasoning abilities.
Right.
Similar to models that we've seen from companies like OpenAI.
Yeah, like ChatGPT.
But here's where things get really interesting. DeepSeek claims that they developed R1 for a mere $5.6 million.
Oh, wow.
While U.S. companies are spending hundreds of millions, if not billions, on comparable projects.
That's right. And it's that difference in cost that has everyone so surprised. And it's prompted some to call this like a potential Sputnik moment for AI.
Wow.
Similar to when the Soviet Union launched the first satellite and, kickstarted that space race.
Oh, yeah.
DeepSeek's achievement is making people kind of rethink assumptions about, global leadership in AI development.
And it's definitely sent some ripples through the stock market.
For sure.
The tech-heavy NASDAQ took a dive.
Yeah.
And NVIDIA, the chip maker that's often associated with AI development, experienced the largest single-day market value loss in history.
I can't even imagine.
A staggering $588.8 billion.
That just shows how sensitive the market can be to any perceived shift in technological leadership.
Yeah.
It's fascinating to observe how investor sentiment can be swayed by developments like this.
So how did DeepSeek pull this off? What's their secret sauce?
Yeah, what is it?
So it seems like DeepSeek took kind of a resourceful approach.
Okay.
Leveraging NVIDIA's H800 chips, which are less powerful than the cutting-edge chips that U.S. companies are typically using for AI development.
I see.
But what's interesting is that these H800 chips aren't subject to the same U.S. export restrictions.
Oh, interesting.
They were put in place to limit China's access to the more powerful AI chips.
So they found a workaround. Yeah,
they basically found a workaround, turning a perceived limitation into an advantage.
That's pretty clever.
It's a pretty clever strategy.
Especially considering the geopolitical context surrounding AI development these days.
Absolutely.
Some experts even view DeepSeek's success as a direct challenge to the U.S. strategy of trying to restrain China's progress in the AI field.
It's definitely added fuel to that ongoing debate.
Yeah, for sure.
About the best approach to foster AI innovation.
Right.
While navigating international relations.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
It seems like this move has really put DeepSeek in a unique position.
It has.
Potentially outmaneuvering some of the bigger players in the AI arena.
Yeah. What do you think of?
Well, there's naturally some skepticism around DeepSeek's claims. Some people think that the market might be overreacting.
I was going to say, is this a bit of an overreaction?
And there are questions about whether DeepSeek's approach can truly compete in the long run.
Yeah, that's fair. Some analysts believe that DeepSeek's focus on consumer-facing AI, like ChatGPT, might not necessarily translate to success in those more complex industrial applications.
Right.
Which is really where a lot of the future potential of AI is expected to be.
So it's not a guaranteed win for DeepSeek.
Right.
And we're still in the early stages of understanding the long-term implications of their approach. And this timing is interesting, too.
Yeah.
DeepSeek made this announcement right as Trump began his new term as president.
The timing is definitely interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, some view it as a strategic move by China.
Yeah.
To signal its growing influence
right.
in the technology world.
Especially with the current political climate.
Yeah, I get that.
It almost feels like they're sending a message saying, look, we're here.
We're here.
We're innovative.
And we're not going anywhere.
And we're not going anywhere.
Exactly. And this whole situation has sparked a lot of debate in the U.S.
Yeah.
about whether the current approach to regulating AI might actually be hindering innovation
right.
and giving China an edge.
It's a fair point to make. Yeah.
It almost feels ironic.
It does.
The U.S. tries to restrict access to advanced chips, and then DeepSeek comes along
right.
and develops a groundbreaking model
easy.
using readily available, less powerful technology.
It really highlights the unpredictable nature of innovation.
Totally.
It often finds a way, even in the face of constraints.
Yeah, and that brings up another interesting point. DeepSeek is taking an open source approach with their technology.
Oh, wow.
Which contrasts with the more closed models favored by some U.S. companies.
Interesting.
They're making their technology accessible, which could attract even more talent to their side and accelerate the pace of development.
Yeah, I mean, imagine a world where AI development is completely democratized with contributions from all over.
Yeah.
It's a stark contrast to the very guarded strategies of some U.S. companies.
This open source approach could be pretty impactful, don't you think?
Absolutely. And it leads to a crucial question. Is DeepSeek a one-time wonder?
Or are we witnessing the very beginning of a massive shift in the global AI landscape?
That's the billion-dollar question, isn't it?
It is.
And it has enormous implications for the future of AI.
Huge.
What do you think, based on what we've discussed so far?
Well, I mean, DeepSeek's approach is undeniably disruptive.
Yeah.
I mean, achieving this level of performance at such a low cost definitely has the potential to reshape how AI is developed.
Yeah.
It raises questions about the massive investments being made by U.S. companies in AI infrastructure.
Yeah, like, are they going to have to rethink that?
Right. Could there be more efficient, more cost-effective paths forward?
It seems like the whole industry is taking notice and reevaluating its playbook.
For sure.
I'm curious about the investor perspective.
I
mean, they're the ones feeling the immediate impact of all this.
Yeah, they are. We're seeing a pretty significant shift in investor sentiment.
Yeah.
Many are pulling back from companies like NVIDIA and looking to other sectors.
It's a classic example of fear and uncertainty.
Totally.
It's driving market behavior.
It happens every time.
And it's not just the tech companies feeling the heat.
Right.
Even energy companies that were planning to power these massive AI data centers are taking a hit.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. Companies like Constellation Energy, which was planning to revive the 3 Mile Island nuclear plant to power AI.
Wow.
Saw their stock plummet.
That's wild.
Even futures prices for natural gas and oil has been affected.
It's amazing how much of a ripple effect this has had.
DeepSeek's breakthrough is having a ripple effect across multiple industries.
As it is.
It's a stark reminder that innovation can disrupt established markets and create these unexpected opportunities.
I love that.
Speaking of opportunities, some analysts are suggesting that this situation might be a good time to consider investing in undervalued Chinese tech companies.
What do you think about that?
It's an interesting proposition.
It is.
DeepSeek's success could very well spark renewed interest in Chinese tech, particularly in the AI sector.
But we need to be careful not to get caught up in the hype.
Right.
Without, considering the full picture.
Yeah, I understand. We need to be careful not to get caught up in the hype without considering the full picture.
There's still so much we don't know about DeepSeek's long-term viability and the true capabilities of their technology.
And it's important to remember that they've only been around for a year.
It's true.
But even if DeepSeek doesn't end up becoming the next Google or Amazon, they've already made a significant impact.
Absolutely.
They've forced everyone to acknowledge China's growing capabilities in the AI arena.
DeepSeek has totally changed the game.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether their success is, fleeting or not.
And they've done it in a way that nobody could have predicted.
Yeah.
They've shown that you don't necessarily need billions of dollars and the most powerful chips to make waves.
You don't.
In the world of AI.
It's a real testament to ingenuity and the power of thinking differently.
It feels like they've thrown a grenade into the AI landscape.
It does.
And the dust is still settling as everyone tries to figure out what this all means.
That's a great analogy.
As we wait to see how things shake out, one thing is clear. DeepSeek has initiated a period of intense scrutiny and reassessment across the entire AI industry.
Yeah.
Companies are scrambling to adapt.
It's a panic.
Investors are reevaluating their portfolios.
I would be too.
And policymakers are grappling with the implications of this sudden shift in the balance of power.
This is a truly fascinating moment in the evolution of technology.
It really is, and it raises so many questions about the future.
Yeah.
Will DeepSeek's model prove to be sustainable in the long run?
Right.
Will U.S. companies find a way to regain their dominance?
Good question.
Or are we witnessing the dawn of a new era where Chinese innovation leads the way?
These are all questions we can't definitively answer today.
Right.
But one thing is for sure, the world of AI is more dynamic and unpredictable than ever before.
Yeah.
And DeepSeek is at the heart of this transformation.
It's a story that's still being written.
Yes.
And we're all eager to see what the next chapter holds.
I can't wait.
But for now, I think we've covered a lot of ground and given you plenty to think about.
I hope so.
What stands out to you as the most important takeaway?
For me, it's the realization that assumptions about AI development and global tech leadership are being challenged in a very profound way.
Right.
We're seeing a shift in the center of gravity, and it's happening much faster than anyone anticipated.
It's a reminder that the future of technology isn't predetermined.
It's not. It's being shaped by these bold ideas, relentless competition, and a willingness to challenge the status quo.
Those are the ingredients for a truly exciting and transformative era.
Absolutely.
Speaking of transformative, let's shift gears a bit and talk about a specific technical detail that's at the heart of DeepSeek's success. Test timescaling.
Interesting.
You might be wondering what that is and why it matters.
Yeah, what is that?
This technique is actually key to understanding how they were able to achieve such high performance with less powerful chips. Think of it like this. Imagine you have a limited amount of space in a backpack, but you need to fit a lot of gear.
I've been there.
You would probably try to compress things, find creative ways to pack more efficiently, right?
For sure.
That's essentially what test timescaling does for AI models.
Interesting.
It's a way of optimizing the model during its testing phase to improve efficiency and performance without needing more powerful hardware.
Clever.
So they're essentially squeezing every ounce of performance out of the hardware they have available, rather than relying on brute computing power.
They're working smarter, not harder.
It's a fascinating approach that challenges the conventional wisdom of needing the biggest and most powerful chips to make breakthroughs in AI.
And this approach could have significant implications for the future of AI development.
Yeah.
Particularly when it comes to accessibility and cost.
Right.
It opens up the possibility that you don't need massive resources to make really significant contributions to the field.
This is really intriguing stuff. It seems like DeepSeek has found a way to level the playing field in a way that nobody saw coming.
It seems like it.
But what does this mean for the future of AI development? Could this trigger a shift towards more efficient and accessible AI solutions?
It's certainly a possibility DeepSeek's success might encourage other companies and researchers to explore these alternative approaches to AI development. Focusing on optimization efficiency rather than just solely relying on increasingly powerful and expensive hardware.
It's like they've stumbled upon a new pathway, a different way of thinking about how to achieve breakthroughs in AI. And it could have a ripple effect, leading to a wave of innovation that focuses on making AI more accessible and less resource intensive.
This is really cool. It has the potential to democratize AI development.
And this brings us to another key aspect of DeepSeek's story, their open source approach. You touched on this earlier, but I think it's worth delving a bit deeper into what it means and why it's such a significant departure from the strategies employed by some of the major players in the U.S.
Absolutely.
The decision to make their technology open source is a bold move by DeepSeek.
It is.
It essentially means that they're making their code and algorithms freely available for others to use, modify, and build upon.
So generous.
It's a stark contrast to the more guarded approach often seen in the U.S. tech industry, where companies closely protect their intellectual property and keep their code under wraps.
Yeah, they're very secretive.
And this open source approach could have a number of interesting implications.
Like what?
For one, it could accelerate the pace of innovation in the AI field. Well, by making their technology open source, DeepSeek is essentially inviting the global community of developers and researchers to collaborate, to build upon their work, and to explore new applications.
I see.
This could lead to a much faster rate of development compared to the traditional model of closed-source innovation, where progress is often limited by the resources and priorities of a single company.
That makes sense.
It's like opening the floodgates of creativity and collaboration, allowing for a more diverse range of perspectives and ideas to contribute to the advancement of AI.
I love that.
I can see how this could be a game changer.
It could be.
Especially if it inspires a new generation of AI developers to embrace this open and collaborative approach.
Yeah, that's the hope, right?
But this open source approach isn't without its risks.
What do you mean?
There are concerns about potential misuse of the technology or the possibility of it falling into the wrong hands.
That's true.
Those are valid concerns that need to be carefully considered. The open source nature of the technology does raise questions about security and control.
Right.
It's a double-edged sword. While it fosters collaboration and innovation, it also requires a different approach to managing risks and ensuring responsible use.
So it's about finding that balance.
This is where the ethical implications of AI become really important. As AI becomes more powerful and accessible, we need to ensure that it's developed and used responsibly.
Absolutely.
Ethical consideration should be at the forefront of any discussion about AI.
I agree.
Especially when dealing with open source technologies. It's crucial to establish clear guidelines and mechanisms to mitigate potential risks and ensure that AI is used for good.
That's a really important point.
It's a complex issue that requires careful consideration and collaboration between developers, policymakers, and the wider community.
It's a team effort.
But for now, let's shift our focus back to DeepSeek and explore how their open source approach fits into the larger geopolitical landscape.
That's interesting.
It's an interesting angle to consider.
It is.
DeepSeek's decision to embrace open source stands in contrast to the efforts by some in the U.S. To restrict access to advanced AI technologies, particularly in relation to China.
They're trying to hold on tight.
It seems like they're taking a different tack, choosing to foster collaboration and open access rather than engaging in a technological arms race.
Makes sense.
Could you elaborate on that?
Sure. Well, by making their technology open source, DeepSeek is essentially making it available to anyone. Regardless of their nationality or affiliation.
So anyone can benefit from it.
Yeah, and this could potentially undermine efforts to restrict access to certain AI technologies.
It's almost like they're circumventing the geopolitical barriers.
It is.
By creating a more open and inclusive space for AI development.
That's brilliant.
It's a fascinating strategic move.
It is.
That could have far-reaching consequences for the future of global AI leadership.
Who knows what could happen?
It certainly adds another layer of complexity.
It does.
To the already intricate relationship between the U.S. and China in the realm of technology.
Those two are always going at it.
And it highlights how the development and deployment of AI are becoming increasingly intertwined with geopolitical considerations.
AI is no longer just a technological race. It's a strategic battleground.
Yeah, with implications for global power dynamics.
Big time.
It's a lot to unpack.
It is.
And we've only just scratched the surface.
The tip of the iceberg.
Of this complex and rapidly evolving story.
Yeah, this is crazy.
But for now, I think we've laid a solid foundation.
We have.
For understanding the key players, the disruptive technology, and the geopolitical forces at play.
I think so.
But this is just the beginning of our deep dive into DeepSeek and the impact they're having on the world of AI.
Awesome.
In the next part, we'll delve deeper into the potential implications of their approach.
Sounds good.
The challenges they face and the broader questions they raise about the future of AI development and global technological leadership.
I can't wait to get into it.
I'm looking forward to exploring those aspects further.
You too.
It's a conversation that's only just getting started.
For sure.
Buckle up.
Yeah.
It's going to be a wild ride.
I'm ready for it. So picking up where we left off DeepSeek's story really makes you think about the future of AI development.
Yeah.
I mean, they've shown us that you don't necessarily need vast resources and the most powerful chips to make progress.
Their approach has kind of thrown a wrench into the traditional way of thinking about AI development, and it's got a lot of people wondering if this marks a shift towards more efficient and accessible AI solutions.
It's a compelling question.
Yeah.
And I think DeepSeek's success might encourage others to consider different approaches.
Yeah.
What if optimization and efficiency become the primary focus rather than just chasing the most powerful hardware that could really change the game entirely?
Imagine the possibilities if AI development became more democratized with a greater focus on making it accessible to a wider range of researchers and developers.
Yeah, exactly. It could unlock a wave of innovation that we haven't even begun to imagine.
But of course, there are also challenges and potential downsides to think about.
Right. There are always two sides to every coin.
We've talked about the open source approach and the potential risks associated with that. There's also the question of DeepSeek's long-term viability and whether their approach can truly compete in the long run.
Absolutely. While their initial success is definitely remarkable, sustainability is really key.
Right.
Can they maintain this momentum, attract and retain top talent, and continue to innovate at this pace?
Yeah.
Those are all crucial factors that will determine their long-term success.
And how about the geopolitical implications?
Yeah.
We touched on the tensions between the U.S. and China in the AI arena.
Right.
How might DeepSeek's emergence reshape those dynamics?
That's a really big question.
Yeah.
I mean, DeepSeek's open source strategy could really challenge those efforts to control access to AI technology.
Right.
Especially if their approach proves to be highly effective.
Yeah.
It introduces a wild card into the equation.
It's like they're playing a different game altogether.
It is.
One where collaboration and open access are the driving forces rather than competition and control.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's a very different approach.
But let's zoom out a bit and talk about the broader impact on the market.
Right.
We already saw how the initial news about DeepSeek sent those shockwaves through the stock market, affecting everything from tech companies to energy providers.
I know, it was crazy.
How do you see this playing out in the long run?
It's tough to say for sure, but I think we're in for a period of significant readjustment. If DeepSeek's model proves to be sustainable and starts to be adopted by others, it could fundamentally reshape the investment landscape.
What do you mean by that?
Well, if efficiency and cost effectiveness become the primary drivers of AI development, we might see a shift away from the massive investments currently being poured into expensive hardware and infrastructure.
So instead of just focusing on who has the biggest and most powerful chips, investors might start looking for companies that are developing innovative and efficient solutions. Regardless of the hardware they're using.
Exactly. It could lead to a more level playing field and a more diverse range of players in the AI market.
That would be a really fascinating development to watch.
It would.
And what about the impact on industries beyond tech?
Yeah.
We already saw how DeepSeek's announcement affected energy companies that were betting big on powering those massive AI data centers. Could we see similar disruptions in other sectors?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
As AI becomes more affordable and accessible, it's likely to be adopted by a wider range of industries, which could lead to some significant disruptions and transformations in various sectors.
It makes you wonder what the world will look like in 5 or 10 years if this trend continues.
It's an exciting and perhaps a little daunting thought, isn't it?
Yeah.
The pace of change in the AI field is accelerating. And it's really hard to predict exactly how it will all unfold.
But that's also what makes it so fascinating.
It is.
There are so many possibilities and so much potential for positive change.
And that's why it's so important to stay informed and engaged in these conversations. To really consider the potential benefits and risks. And to think critically about the kind of future we want to create with AI.
Yeah, that's a great point. We're not just passive observers in this technological revolution.
Well, no, we're not.
We're active participants who have a responsibility to shape its trajectory.
Absolutely. And as we've seen with DeepSeek's emergence, innovation can really come from unexpected places.
It's true.
And challenge the status quo in profound ways.
Yeah.
It's a good reminder that we need to be open to new ideas, to question assumptions, and to embrace the unknown.
I think that's a great note to transition to something that you mentioned earlier,
Right.
which has really captivated so many people about this story.
Uh-huh.
It's this whole idea of DeepSeek being a David going up against the Goliaths of the AI world.
Right.
It's a real underdog story that resonates with a lot of people.
And there's something inherently compelling about that.
Yeah.
A small, relatively unknown company taking on the giants of the industry and making such a significant impact.
Yeah.
It challenges that notion that you need massive resources and established power to make a difference.
It's like a breath of fresh air.
It is.
A reminder that innovation can come from anywhere,
Ah.
and that even those with limited resources can achieve remarkable things if they have the right ideas and the determination to succeed.
It's inspiring, isn't it?
It is.
It shows that ingenuity and a willingness to challenge conventional thinking can go a long way.
And it's a story that's still being written.
Yeah.
We don't know how it will all end.
Right.
But it's definitely capturing the attention of the world.
DeepSeek has become a symbol of disruption.
Yeah.
And a catalyst for these important conversations about the future of AI.
Yeah.
The balance of power in the technology world.
Right.
And the role of innovation in shaping our future.
And it's a reminder that we're living in a time of such rapid technological advancement.
We are.
Where the impossible seems to become possible on a regular basis.
It's true.
Before we move on to the final part of our deep dive, I want to circle back to something we touched on earlier.
Right.
The impact of DeepSeek's success on the investment landscape.
Right.
You mentioned a potential shift away from focusing solely on companies with the most powerful hardware.
I did.
Can you expand on what kinds of opportunities investors might be looking for?
Sure. I think investors will be increasingly interested in those companies that are developing innovative approaches to AI, regardless of the hardware they're using.
So it's not just about raw computing power anymore.
Not necessarily. Investors will be looking for companies that are developing AI solutions that can be deployed in a wider range of contexts, that can be accessed by a broader audience, and that can be scaled efficiently.
So things like innovative algorithms, creative optimization techniques, maybe even new approaches to hardware design that prioritize efficiency over raw power.
Precisely. And they'll be looking for companies that are addressing the ethical implications of AI, developing solutions that are responsible, transparent, and aligned with human values.
It sounds like investors will need to adopt a more nuanced approach.
They will.
Looking beyond the surface level and considering a wider range of factors when evaluating AI companies.
It's a more complex and challenging landscape, but it's also one that's full of exciting opportunities.
It's a reminder that disruption often creates new possibilities, and those who can adapt and embrace change are often the ones who thrive.
I completely agree. It's a time of great transformation. And those who can navigate this shifting landscape with foresight and agility will be well positioned for success.
It's a fascinating time to be involved in the world of AI, wouldn't you say?
It absolutely is. There's never been a more dynamic and exciting time to be a part of this field. The possibilities are really endless. And the future is just full of potential.
And with that, I think we're ready to move on to the final part of our deep dive.
Awesome.
We've covered a lot of ground so far.
Yeah, we have.
But there's still so much to explore.
I'm looking forward to it.
There are a lot of important questions to consider as we delve deeper into the long-term implications of DeepSeek's emergence and the future of AI as a whole.
That's going to be good.
All right, so welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into the world of DeepSeek and their impact on the AI landscape.
It's been a journey.
We've covered a lot of ground,
We have.
from their groundbreaking low-cost approach to AI development to the market shakeup and geopolitical implications.
Absolutely.
And now, as we enter this final stretch of our deep dive, I think it's time to turn our attention to the bigger picture.
Okay.
What does DeepSeek's emergence tell us about the future of AI?
Right.
What trends should we be paying attention to? And what questions should we be asking ourselves as we navigate this rapidly evolving landscape?
That's a great question. I think DeepSeek's story really underscores a key point.
Okay.
The future of AI is far from predetermined.
What do you mean by that?
Well, for a long time, the prevailing narrative was that AI development was primarily a game of resources. The assumption was that whoever had the most powerful hardware, the largest data sets, and the deepest pockets would ultimately lead the way.
Right. It was all about brute force computing power and massive investments in infrastructure.
Exactly. But DeepSeek's approach kind of challenges that assumption.
Uh-huh.
They've shown that innovation can come from these unexpected places, and that focusing on efficiency optimization and collaboration can actually lead to some remarkable results, even with limited resources.
It's like they've found a way to outsmart the system.
That's true.
To level the playing field by focusing on clever engineering and a more agile approach to development.
And I think this has some really significant implications for the future of AI. It suggests that the race for AI dominance might not be as straightforward as many people thought.
Yeah.
It's not just about who has the biggest supercomputer anymore.
Right.
It's about who can develop the most efficient and adaptable solutions.
So you're saying that the focus might shift from raw computing power to factors like algorithm design, data efficiency, and the ability to adapt to new challenges and environments.
Exactly. And this shift could open up the field to a much wider range of players, fostering a more diverse and dynamic AI ecosystem.
Yeah.
It could lead to a wave of innovation that's really driven by creativity and ingenuity, rather than just brute force computing power.
That's an exciting prospect.
Yeah.
It suggests that the future of AI might be more democratic and accessible than many people previously imagined.
I think so. And this brings us to another important trend. The DeepSeek story highlights the growing importance of collaboration and open access in the AI field.
Right. Their decision to embrace open source was such a bold move.
It was.
That really set them apart from many of the major AI players.
Yeah, like they were going against the grain.
What impact do you think this open source approach will have on the future of AI development?
Well, I think it has the potential to be transformative.
Okay.
Open source AI development fosters this culture of sharing, collaboration, and rapid iteration.
Yeah.
It really allows for a wider range of perspectives and contributions, which ultimately accelerates the pace of innovation.
It's like tapping into the collective intelligence of the global developer community, harnessing the power of crowdsourcing to solve these complex challenges and push the boundaries of what's possible.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And this open source approach could also play a really crucial role in addressing some of those ethical concerns surrounding AI. By making the chain and algorithms transparent and accessible, it allows for greater scrutiny and accountability.
Totally. Making it easier to identify and mitigate potential biases or risks.
It's about being open and honest.
That's an important point as AI becomes increasingly integrated into our lives.
It is.
It's crucial that we have mechanisms in place to ensure that it's developed and used responsibly.
Couldn't agree more.
Open source could be a really powerful tool for promoting transparency and ethical AI development.
Yeah, I think it's a step in the right direction.
So we've got this shift towards efficiency and collaboration, a potential democratization of AI development, and a growing emphasis on these ethical considerations.
Yeah.
What other trends should we be keeping an eye on?
Well, one area that I think will be increasingly important is the development of AI systems that are more adaptable and resilient.
What do you mean by that?
So many of the current AI systems are designed to operate in these relatively controlled environments with well-defined tasks and data sets. But the real world is messy and unpredictable. Things don't always go according to plan. And AI systems need to be able to handle these unexpected situations and adapt to changing circumstances.
We need AI systems that can operate effectively in the real world.
Yeah.
Not just in a lab or a data center.
Right. And this will require new approaches to AI development, drawing inspiration from fields like biology, where systems have evolved to be incredibly adaptable and resilient.
It's fascinating to think about how AI might evolve to become more like living organisms capable of learning and adapting to their surroundings in a more organic way.
It's a really exciting area of research.
It is.
So we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive. We've explored DeepSeek's disruptive approach to AI development, the market reactions, the geopolitical implications, and the broader trends shaping the future of AI.
It's been a lot to take in.
As we wrap things up, I want to bring it back to you, our listener. What key takeaways would you like to leave them with?
The most important takeaway, I think, is that the future of AI is full of possibilities.
Yeah.
DeepSeek's story really shows us that the landscape is shifting, that innovation can come from the most unexpected places.
Right.
And that those old assumptions about who will lead the way are being challenged.
It's a reminder that we're all active participants in shaping the future of AI.
Oh, yeah.
Through our choices, our investment, and the questions we ask.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
So, as we conclude our deep dive, I want to leave you with a final question to ponder.
Right.
How will you contribute to shaping the future of AI?
Right.
What role will you play in this unfolding story?
It's a question we should all be asking ourselves.
It's something to think about as we all navigate this exciting and uncharted territory together.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure having you here.
I've had a great time.
We'll see you next time for another deep dive into the world of AI.
Until then, stay curious.